We all know that PIs are very good at gathering information about people. That is no secret. But the big secret lies in the question, how do private investigators get all of that juicy information? So let's quickly jump in and discuss the top 10 ways PIs gather information today. The first stop for many private investigators are those ever popular PI databases. You know, IDI Core, IRB Focus, Tracers, TLO Experian, Accurate, and Skip Smasher, just to name a few. Let me know down in the comments below which databases do you use, why do you use them, and what ones are the best from your experience. These databases are great at compiling information gathered from public records, credit header reports, phone and utility records, and yes, even some information directly from social media accounts. And the information they provide is usually fairly in-depth, accurate, and up-to-date to a point. The biggest problem with these paid databases that PIs use, though, is that they are fairly in-depth, accurate, and up-to-date to a point. This video is sponsored by OREP Insurance and Working PI Magazine. OREP is a leading provider of private investigator liability insurance. Visit orep.org for a quote today. They can have errors in them, and almost all of them provide what is called a comprehensive report, which is not comprehensive in the way many people would think. My best analogy would be that they provide a comprehensive look at the information each of them have on a subject. They are not all-inclusive, to be sure. Now, don't get me wrong, they are great starting points for gathering information for private investigators, but they're just that, starting points. I always recommend that every private investigator have at least 2 or 3 paid databases, as they all have varying levels of information and you can use them to cross-check and verify the data as well. That is a key thing to remember. All the information you gather during any investigation needs to be verified. Do not assume that it is all correct or current. As I dig further and further into a subject's background, I often find that there is more to the story than one report can tell. Public records is another excellent place to get information about your subject of interest too. But that phrase, public records, is a little vague, isn't it? Generally, when we are talking about public records, we are talking about things like property records, which are usually readily available from your county assessor's website. I usually will run subjects of my investigation in every county assessor search site for every county I think they may be residing in or have resided in where they may have owned property. This not only shows that the subject owns property in the county, which could be their current place of residency, but it can also provide other great details about the subject. If your subject owns an investment property, those records at the county level will usually show a mailing address for them that is different from the address of the rental property that they own. In some cases, if they sold the property, it may show their new address or a forwarding address as a current address on that transaction. You can also get public record data from corporate records or other business-related records, which can often be gathered from your state Secretary of State website. If they are listed as an RA or registered agent, it will show an address for them, and many times they may have used their home address for this when they were first setting up the business. This is why it is important for you to look at all of the historical documents filed for any companies you find to be associated with your subject. I will also check the criminal records of my subjects. I do this by checking the county sheriff's arrest records on their websites. Again, I will search every county they have lived in and may have lived in where they may have been arrested. I also run them in the Bureau of Investigations for the states that they have lived in. There's often a small charge, like $5 or $10 to do these. Now, I do the counties along with the Bureau because not all counties report to the State Bureau of Investigations in many states. And then there are municipal police and code violation records to check too. If they got a speeding ticket and were not arrested, it probably will not show in other reports. There often is no easy way to gather this information from towns and cities, so it will oftentimes require a public records request with them to gather that data. That leads us into court records, which are a must-check place too. Here in Colorado, I go to CoCourts, which is powered by LexisNexis. The state court records will show criminal cases, past and present, as well as civil cases like lawsuits, divorces, evictions, and things like that. Now, keep in mind, not all counties report to the state, so you will often have to do some searching at the county court level too. And in most states, no city or town court system reports to the state, so you need to check their records independently. News archives are a great way to get information on your subject too, and much to everyone's surprise, not all historical news events are available online. Depending on the type of case I am working on or how deep I need to dig, I may go to local and state newspapers and TV stations to find out how to search their historical stories. I often find in an old newspaper article when someone got married and to whom or who they are married to in a relative's obituary. And for small town newspapers, you may even get information about police calls at an address, tickets written, arrests by local police, and other great information. What information have you gathered in the past while doing a newspaper search? Let me know in the comments down below. A quick resource I will throw out is government repositories like military records, the Securities and Exchange Commission, and federal and state governments. These are harder to get information from and will almost always require a FOIA or Freedom of Information Act request. Motor vehicle records are also a great place to get information, but these are getting harder and harder to access for private investigators in most states. Some states require that you have some legal purpose, like an ongoing court case. In some states, they do have some records available to licensed PIs. Gathering motor vehicle records is a bit cumbersome too, requiring a trip to the DMV to put in a request, then wait for them to pull the records, and many times you will have to have them send them to you, or you'll have to come back another day. Then there is human intelligence gathering, which comes in many different ways. Surveillance is the most popular, to be sure. You can learn a lot about your subject by following them around, but this can get quite expensive for your client and risky for the investigation, especially if you are doing surveillance for an extended period. In-person contacts or interviews with neighbors, friends, family, co-workers, employers, and others can also gain valuable intel on your subject. You would be very surprised by what some people will say. This also has some level of risk of endangering the integrity of the investigation, as word may get back to the subject that someone is asking questions about them. Social networks are also a wonderful place to get details and information about people, but there are inherent problems with social media accounts too. First, people will post what they want others to know about, and if things are not going well, like in a relationship, they may often go radio silent. I also see people use alternate names a lot these days on social media accounts, like using their middle name in some fashion or a nickname. This makes identifying the accounts harder and harder. The biggest problem, though, is the ability for the account to be locked so only friends can see their posts. There is no legal way to get the details of posts and pictures and stuff like that if it is locked down. And many social media sites like Facebook are cracking down on technology that does data scraping. So many once popular search sites that could get that information are no longer able to do that. That leads us to the old internet itself for getting information. We will usually do some level of an OSINT or open source intelligence investigation on most subjects to see what information we can scour off of the internet. We can often get details hidden deep on a website or from documents like PDF files, spreadsheets, and even databases by doing a comprehensive OSINT investigation. These searches can get time-consuming and complicated and require some knowledge of using Google in advanced and extended search phrases or operators. Now, before I tell you one of the least known, least used, and often overlooked ways private investigators get information on their subjects, let me explain one thing. All of this stuff takes time. There is no one surefire way to get everything. There is no magical database that has it all. Our government doesn't even have that. Doing these types of deep searches takes time, investment, commitment, and diligence, and you need to make sure that you educate your client about what it takes and what it entails to do all this, and make sure you charge an appropriate fee for all of the work you will be doing. Here is the least known, least used, and probably least preferred method to dig up some good dirt on your subject. That is garbage pulls or dumpster diving. Yep, you're going to have to get a little dirty using this technique, but it can get you so much information that you will never find on the internet. If you would like to learn more about garbology investigations or dumpster diving investigations, then check out this video that I made discussing how I use this technique in a child custody case.